Hello, people of the internet. It's boy Kishiwishi, and today I want to have a real, honest conversation with you guys, the people in my community. Actually, not even just the people in my community. This is just something I wanted to say. So, I posted a video a couple, months back about talking about toxic femininity or toxic masculinity. Freudian slip right there. And then recently, I uploaded a video also talking about toxic femininity. This video right here, right now, is going to be the end of the trilogy series talking about this. And, I'm just gonna say it. Feminism as a whole entire ideological ideology, I guess. Feminism as an entire ideology only works for a very specific small group of people, and that small group of people is rich white women. If you're any other demographic, feminism as it is in the West, the way it was created, and I'm not talking about first wave or second wave. You see, the first and second waves made sense, right? But you see, when it came to the third and fourth wave of feminism, it really just started to become, hey, we want more rights than you, but we're going to pretend that we're just getting the rights that you guys always had. But realistically speaking, when it comes to, let's draw it back. Throughout all of human history, right? Both men and women have had to work, right? Throughout all of human history. And I'm talking going back to the caveman days too. It didn't matter. If you wanted to survive, you had to contribute something. Life was never that good for any specific group of people in that time period, even up until the 17th or 18th century, unless you're, once again, a rich white woman. You had to work to survive. And I was watching a video recently where they talked about this very topic, but they didn't talk about it the same way that I did. But realistically speaking, only rich white women can be feminists. Because the only reason why feminism came about was because rich white women got bored being at home all day. But you specifically, and I'm saying you specifically because yes, even this also applies if you're a white person as well, white man or a white woman. You please tell me a person in your family's life, and I'm saying your grandma, your great grandma, even your mom, did they not have to work to some extent? And I'm not saying housework. Housework is housework. Housework was a thing that became a thing because of the 1950s. The 1950s is specifically the only point in time where women weren't allowed to work, or where women didn't have to work. But when you look at the facts of the situation, the only women in the 1950s that got to be stay-at-home housewives or stay-at-home moms were white women. Me, for example, and many people who may either be immigrants, black, Hispanic, and even poor white people who don't have a fucking trust fund set up for them. Their mom was working, their grandma was working, their great grandmother was working. An immutable fact of life is, in order to survive, you have to do some type of work, especially in a capitalistic society. So making it big, ooh, rah, rah, women are finally in the workplace, women are you guys were already doing that. And I'm gonna steer this conversation in more. The same white woman who could afford the lifestyle, the rich white woman who could afford the lifestyle to not work, you want to know who did the work around the house for them? Your Hispanic mom or your Hispanic grandma who was watching their kids. Oh, probably your black mom. It was only a privilege for white women to not be at home, and because they have the privilege, it was only a privilege for white women to be the ones to stay home while their husband works because their husbands were affluent, that it made more sense for them to be like, oh, I hate feeling trapped. I'm home all day while my husband's at work and I can't really say or do anything because I'm not allowed to have a bank account. Yeah, the whole thing about not being allowed to have a bank account thing, that, you see, that specific thing is the good part of feminism. Yes, women should be able to get their own resources without a man. That is true. However, this is a peep game. Working as an adult is what you need to survive. But in order to live as an adult, you need a partner. You either need a partner or you have to be so specialized in whatever field and be so dedicated to it to actually live. Like the shoveling shit, at some point, you have to enjoy shoveling shit for a paycheck in order to start living. But working, the baseline of just going to work is needed for survival. And you can see it popping up more and more on social media of these different women who are burning out in their 30s. Remember, they spent all of their, from 18, they went to college, graduated around 22, went straight into the workforce by like 23, 24, and kept working for 10 years. Now they're 34, 35, burnt the fuck out, either didn't prioritize relationships or kept getting into shitty short-term relationships because, oh, I don't need a man, I have my own money. It's like, yes, you have your own money, you have your own place, but you know what's better? Being with someone and owning something together. Humans, I don't know why feminism turned into this thing where it's women not needing men and then men just being shit. No, women and men both need each other. Men have the capabilities to overextend themselves in every which way possible to cater to the people that they love. That is what men do. That is what a strong, healthy, masculine man does. You will stretch yourself thinner than a fucking single strand of hair, just to make sure your woman, your family is happy. And that same sentiment goes for women too. A woman at her peak will stretch herself thin to make sure everyone in her life, her husband, her children, her father, her mother, women innately will stretch themselves thin just to make sure everyone around them feels okay. What has feminism done? Feminism has created an environment where women are so self-obsessed, so focused on goals and aspirations outside of connecting with other people that now the same men who are supposed to, like, you know, court, date, fucking, you know, start a life, gets pushed to the side and become insignificant. And this is a thing that people don't know, and this is why corporations love hiring women. Okay. If you've seen the same video that I've saw, what the fuck? That is not a fucking word. If you've seen the same video that I saw, you see the sense that I'm making right now. Men are good at macro tasks. Men are good at the bigger picture, seeing how everything comes together to make one outcome, and the outcome is the end result. That's how men operate. We see the little things all together, but because of how our brains work, we can connect multiple things together to make one thing or to make one end result. And what do I mean by this? Think about how people used to build houses back in the day. Think about it. Oh, we need to put that wood there, we need to put it there. Men are more likely to do an action, and then after they've already done the action, they look back at it and see if it makes sense, because we have the ability to pick up big fucking lumber, put it down on the ground, lay it out, and if we look at it and it doesn't make sense, we have the power to undo it and move it away. That's what macro tasks are for men. We look at the big picture first, then work backwards to see if it makes sense. And that's how you make innovation. But wait, this isn't a video to diss women. What women are good at is micro tasks. You know, the small intricate details, Women are the ones that, in my opinion, if you're with the same building analogy, the perfect architect is a woman. Why? She can see the most smallest discrepancy before you even start building it. That you see how men and women work together? Men will look at a situation, do an action that makes sense within their head, and if it doesn't make sense, they'll undo it or at least try to correct it, right? Women are more likely to overthink. They're overthinkers. They're looking at the small, intricate details. They're looking at, okay, this file isn't named correctly, I'm gonna rename it. Meanwhile, a nigga will look at the file, knows that the file is for this specific thing, and will leave it as is because in his brain he knows it, and he knows another guy more than likely will come to the same conclusion as him. Women, just to make sure that things are easier for everyone else involved, so like within a corporate setting, they're the ones that will spend the extra. Think of your HR department. HR is littered with women, and it's a lot of bureaucratic back and forth, small little things that we need to correct. This is something that can make us slightly more efficient if we did this. Hey, look at that. You see that right there? That's out of place. That is what microtasking is. And with that same example, you can see how much the West has changed with the different people and jobs. In the past, the 1950s, the one point in history where women were actually allowed to, well, rich white women weren't allowed to work or didn't work, because as a woman, if you're fucking poor in 1940s or the Great Depression, bitch, you're remember, let's reel it all the way back. The oldest profession is prostitution. The oldest profession is prostitution, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't see a man being a prostitute. So if women in desperate situations, like the oldest profession is prostitution, so one of the first jobs was selling your pussy for resources, probably back in the fucking Neolithic era or whatever the fuck. I'm probably using the wrong term. It makes sense that if the oldest profession in the world was a profession specifically by design only capable or only fruitful if you're a woman, that would put in your head throughout all of history, women have always been working. It's only the rich white women who didn't have to work, the rich white women who are connected to the rich white men who create the infrastructure and put it inside of all of your brains that women aren't allowed to work. Allowed or not, I'm a poor black woman in the 1930s and I need to feed my kids. My husband is trying his best to do a job and we're not making ends meet. You think that bitch is just gonna stay home all day watching TV and cleaning up around the house and wait for her husband to get home with like fucking $30? No, that bitch is going to work. So with that being said, why is it, knowing the facts of the situation, that it's always and only been rich white women that can effectively be the true feminist? Like, I don't need a man to survive, because either you can divorce your husband and get the money from your husband, or you have a trust fund. But like the average, let's say black woman, because I'm a black guy, the average black woman don't even have access to the type of men that these rich white women have to even be spewing the feminist bullshit. So why is it? Because if you really look at it, at the end of the day, the most feminist woman you will ever encounter is either a white woman or someone who prefers to be around white women or white people, or black woman who grew up in a household where the man was not there. So obviously feminism makes sense because mommy's working 3 fucking jobs, so obviously that means women are as strong as men, which, yeah, no shit, women are as strong as men when they need to be, but for how long? Same scenario, let's go back earlier, the same scenario when I talked about an 18-year-old girl. This is how it would be for like an 18-year-old guy. 18-year-old guy, 2 options as soon as you graduate high school, maybe even 3 if you want to be a fucking bum. But 2 options: go to school to get knowledge and become more capable, or go into a field that you're interested in that you're interested in and can make money from it. Once you do that, let's say, okay, we're gonna use the college example because, you know, if you graduate high school at 18, become a journeyman as an electrician, by the age of 21, that's already a 6-figure salary. What else do you need to ask for? But let's say, man, and this is like the lens of what's happening with most guys now. You go to college, you graduate college at 22, right? You're done with college, you go into the workforce. You're starting your workforce. From the moment you get into the workforce as a man, the only reason why you would stop working is if you physically can't do it anymore. And I'm not saying like, oh, you're burnt out, you don't feel like it. No, I'm saying most niggas, and I'm talking about masculine niggas. I'm not talking about us new age niggas that, oh no, my back hurts, I can't come into work. No, not that shit. Your great grandpa or grandfather would work in the fucking coal mines until his lungs are black, but hey, I'm bringing home food for my family. And this is the thing that I left out. See, when a woman goes through college, you get taught that, especially if you take like a women's studies class or a gender studies class, you get taught all of the atrocities, or like, I've never done a gender studies class, but from interacting with people who have done gender studies classes, you get indoctrinated into thinking that the opposite gender is out to get you because of what previously happened in previous generations by the rich white men to their rich white wives. But do you really think that back in the 1950s, black men were slapping the shit out of their women when she didn't make the food right? Do you think that's a you do? Just think about it. You, sir, if you're a black man watching this, can you visualize yourself slapping the shit out of your wife because she didn't do something for you? Mind you, this is the 1950s where literally everyone around you thinks you're a fucking nigger. No, that doesn't make any sense. And same thing for the Hispanics. I believe that the whole abuse thing between the genders was perpetuated specifically by white people, because a white man, and I'm not saying this as if I hate white men, but like saying it for the context of the story. In the 1950s, I just came back from war. I have all this money. Haha, I have big ego. Bitch, you burnt my rice? But as a black man, 1950s, I'm just trying to live, bro. And I have a girl that I was lucky enough to find. Same if you're Hispanic or Asian. I'm just trying to live, bro. And I find a girl that's willing to build a life with me. The abuse was not across the board. So these fucking gender studies classes have been teaching people to hate the opposite gender for something that's a specific group, if even, but like a very small specific group of that gender did it in the past. And this is one of the things that I don't understand personally, and it also comes when people talk about slavery. The 1950s was over 70 years ago. You did not experience the life of a rich white woman in the suburbs of the 1950s, so why the fuck do you have an opinion or have the thought that, hey, men are gonna be this way because that's what happened in the past? That was the past. And remember, the past, is the past real? Remember, history, his story. The past is just a person telling you a story that you never witnessed yourself. Same thing when it comes to slavery. And I understand some of you, the moment I said the word slavery, it's like your ears perked up and you're like, oh, he's gonna say slavery never happened. I'm not gonna say slavery never happened, but use your brains here. Use your brains here. Slavery ended in 1865 in North America, or in the US. Jim Crow ended in 1965. You, 20, or not even, you, my 30-year-old, sir, my 30-year-old Dr. Umar, or 40-year-old Dr. Umar. Or let me go even younger, because I feel like it's mainly, whatever the case may be. Did you yourself witness someone getting lynched in the Jim Crow era? Did you yourself get shackled up, put onto a ship, brought to an entirely different country, whipped day in and day out to work in the hot fucking sun, either picking cotton or picking sugarcane? Did you do that personally to have the opinion that you have against white people? No, stop being fucking stupid. Just because shit happened in the past doesn't mean you should live and act like it's happening now. It's 2020 fucking 6. Life is so much better compared to what it was back then, speaking about in terms of living. Like, yes, the economy, the society is bad, you know, everybody hates each other, but the reason why everybody hates each other is because we're holding on to something from the past that we've never experienced ourselves. We're just going based off of what other people told us. You are watching this video most likely on an iPhone, inside of an air-conditioned house with running water and electricity. You are not the niggas in 1865 that had to run and hide when the Jim Crow fucking laws got put into place once they got freed. No, that's not you. You little white liberal bitch with the pink hair and the fucking nose piercings. You never even got into a relationship with a man. And if you did, that's your own personal, that's what happened in your life. But don't act like shit that happens personally within your life is a systematic issue. Everything that happens in your life is at some point you have to take the accountability and say, hey, the decisions that I've made either yesterday or the day before or years before is what brought me to this moment here. And once you can fully and honestly think that way, your life will improve drastically. Every decision I make is my fault. Oh my God, I just won $1 million. I just got a promotion at work. That's your fault. It's your fault. You did it. You made a decision. The decisions that you make is what dictates your reality. Stop making it as if the reality around you is just happening. You made a decision. Oh, I went to this guy's house and he raped me. Why were we at the house? Oh, he invited me. I didn't know it was that way. I'm sorry, but like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Take some accountability. Why are you going to a guy's house that you barely know? You haven't even gone to a date with him. You haven't even spent time with him. And I know there's always going to be a counter argument about your own personal life and like, oh, this is what happened to me. It still goes back to my point. Make fucking better decisions and you'll stop being in shitty situations. Anyways, that's it. I'm not even going to edit this video. I just got this new mic and I'm a little bit sick. I don't know if you guys can tell my voice. But, yeah. At the end of the day, take accountability for everything that happens in your life. Everything happens for a reason. And don't forget, Papa Wishi, Kishi Wishi, loves you, cherishes you, and hopes you do better for yourself. Kishi Wishi signing off. Thank you guys for watching. I also forgot to mention, hi. Bonus part of the video if you stayed for this long. If you know the concept of keeping up with the Joneses, that explains perfectly why black women are almost equally, if not more, feminist than white women. It's just keeping up with the Joneses. They just want to be just like the white girls, completely disregarding the fact that them white girls have trust funds or around niggas with money or just already have a high-paying job. You, black girl who went to college to get that fucking degree, isn't gonna secure you a position that the white woman has. So stop acting like you're a white woman. You're not. You're black. Start loving your black men. And maybe we'll stop fucking the Hispanic bitches. Okay.